Welcome to the Low Interest Session. We have the beginning of every one of these Hatecasts. Now, guys, I have an important announcement that should please a lot of people right now. Bacchus is finally here. After many delays, after many, it's been just as frustrating for us waiting on it as it has for you guys, I'm sure. But in order to make that up to you guys, we did kind of go crazy here with a 35% off your entire order coupon code that you could have found out about if you would have signed up to our newsletter. But if you're one of those unlucky souls that haven't been able to use it yet because you didn't know that there was a coupon code even available because you're not signed up to our newsletter, I will go ahead and have pity on you, and I will list that in the description box below. But with that being said, we have a great episode for you guys. It's Ed and I this time going over a few questions that we thought you guys would be interested in hearing. One of them is one of our most asked questions now, and we cover it. And I'll kind of spoil it for you guys. Jamie's going to be away for a little bit. His place will always be kept here on the Hatecast. He will always be welcome back whenever he is able to. But in order to hear more of that, you're going to have to, of course, listen. What happened, the honest details and stuff, you're going to have to actually listen to that portion of the Q&A. So, it's an interesting show for you guys today, and we hope to bring you more. With that being said, guys, enjoy the show. Welcome to the newest Hatecast, and today I am joined by Ed.
Hello.
So, guys, the burning question that everybody wants to know about is going to be, and I'm not going to lie here, totally clickbait in the title. Like, you'd notice that Jamie's been off these for, a couple episodes now, and he's probably going to be off for a couple more. So, we got all these questions in, where's Jamie, where's Jamie, where's Jamie? What happened to Jamie? Some of you may know that he is currently in jail. Some of you may not. If so, welcome to the club. It's a nifty little piece of information. Basically, I'll give you the no bullshit, honest truth, right? From what I know, right? And I try not to poke into people's business, but I have been trying to figure this thing out. But from what I know, it's going to be at least 6 months. Now, once I get the go-ahead to talk more about it, I can go ahead and expound on it more, what he went in for, all that stuff. I need to get his permission, too, because I'm not about trashing somebody or not necessarily saying trashing somebody, but I'm not about telling their business, So I'm being as honest and as forthright as I can with that subject. So, it's unfortunately for some of you that don't like the sound of my voice, it's going to be about 6 months until you hear that crazy gentleman rant again. But I think with that covered, we can kind of move on here because I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's crazy. The whole situation is crazy. That's all I'll say. If you'd like to know more about it, you can go and look up Jamie on Facebook. I believe there's a couple different posts on that over there. But, okay, into some real questions. You ready, Ed?
I was born ready.
Okay. Now, we have one individual who has contributed to a lot of these questions. He's on the Chaos and Pain Secret Facebook group. If you are not already a member, you need to be... you need to be in that group because we pull most of the questions from the Hatecast off of there. We do giveaways. We do Ferox Friday every single Friday with great success. And we're going to be doing some other cool shit over there. So, if you're not already a member of that, you need to go there. That is our main source of interaction. Of course, along with the Facebook and the YouTube channel and the Instagram and all that stuff. And if I'm lucky, I'm gonna get access to the Twitter, so I can interact with you guys on Twitter for what that's worth. So, the first question we have here, and it's kind of an interesting one. how would you go about turning yourself into the baddest centurions the Roman legion have ever seen?
Well, dude, I already am.
Oh, okay.
But if you want to, I can tell you what I do to be the baddest Roman centurion. Uh, I like to do compound movements, and I like to do them quickly with not a exorbitant amount of weight. And I like to also do sprints and run, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty fast at them too. So when I combine all of that, it works out really well. And the way to make it simple is I'll divide my workouts into a strength component at first after I warm up, work on the basic lifts and getting stronger. And then what I want to do is I translate that over into the movement because let's be honest, I mean, you can be strong like some of these bodybuilders and whatever, but you and I both know damn well that they can't run more than 200 yards. I mean, what's the
Don't
point?
talk to
What's
me
that
like
200
that.
feet?
Don't say that like you know me.
Oh, I do know you, Bryce. We'll make it 200 feet to make it a little bit
Okay.
easier for you. Okay, how about
Okay.
that?
That's more like it, yeah.
Yeah, but
But go ahead.
doing a lot of so I do the strength components with the barbell, and then for example, for getting that cardiovascular shape up, what I like to do is I'll do things like single arm, kettlebell, dumbbell, snatches, cleans. Then I'll follow that with a 200-meter run, and I look kind of funny running out of the gym doing it. Then come back in, I'll rest for a minute, start the process over. Sometimes I'll throw pull-ups in there too, because I do like to keep my workouts balanced so that I have a pushing and a pulling motion. And
Right.
definitely for me, training that way, it translates over to sports and athletics. And that's basically our modern day form of a Roman centurion. So that's
Yeah.
what I do.
I'll be honest with you guys. So much and so little has changed since the days of the Roman centurions. So you have a vast knowledge of training, a vast knowledge of training base that they really didn't have. Like, and honestly, their workouts were a lot of body weight stuff, doing hard manual labor. I mean, if you really want to have a good workout, go ahead and dig yourself a latrine to shit into.
Heck yeah.
It was a lot of manual labor. It was a lot of, just salt of the earth sort of stuff. I mean, they were hauling around stone, so if you want to really mimic that, I would suggest picking up some Atlas stones. I would focus a lot more on pulling than I would on pushing, because a lot of their training in general, like, it's not even training. You know what made them so badass is everything they did was physical,
Yep.
and it was just pulling and lugging things around, and of course fucking like madmen. But there's some areas of that in which I think some of you would be uncomfortable because everybody had their battle buddy, but uh, but it's just one of those things where if you really want to look and train like a centurion, you need to ditch. Now I know this is going to be controversial, but ditch the barbells, ditch this very specific equipment, and you need to do a lot of body weight, a lot of calisthenics, a lot of running, sprinting, a lot of jumping, a lot of even I'd go so far as to say even experiment with a little bit of fasting, like be comfortable with not eating for a few days. I know that sounds kind of fucked up, but
Hey, dude,
that's what they did,
I gotta say one thing on that, man, and this is something that I've discussed with several people. We are far way too comfortable in society the way we
Yeah,
are, and you know what? When your system is shocked and you're uncomfortable from fasting,
yeah,
magic happens.
yeah. So, yeah, no, I'm not really a fan of fasting because I've tried it, right? Every bit of strength just zaps from me. But, it's highly individual. I personally don't like it, but there are some benefits to it. But like I said, those Centurions, you got to examine their lifestyle more than you got to examine their training, because everybody concentrates on that your basic bitch stuff like Gerard Butler and 300,
Yep.
Everybody wants to look like him, and you just that's not the way they got to look like that. They got to look like that through a combination of starvation, constant physical activity, and just being tough as nails. Now, mind you, if you keep that stuff up, and I mean the hard, grueling shit that they did, you should expect to live about the average life expectancy back then, because those guys were trashed by the time they were 40.
Dude.
And the human body, I'm a firm believer in the human body wasn't really meant to live past 40. Like, modern medicine is the reason why we're in our 80s, 90s, all that other shit. Like, it's just not happening, you had fucking polio around, right? Mm-hmm. Apparently it's coming back. Hey, thanks anti-vaxxers, but all right, that's a hot button issue. I'll leave it alone, guys. I understand.
Hey,
but
by the way, have you seen my recent progress pics? Because I look like I could be in 300, and it's funny because I
know you're ripped, right? Yeah.
But I had neck surgery in January, and I'm 39. So isn't that kind of funny?
Speaking of which, have you well, that's another thing too that's kind of improved with age is the ability to look better than these 20-year-olds at
Yep.
30, 40, 50. I mean, have you seen some of the Masters division bodybuilding?
Dude.
These guys look phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
And guess what? The older you get, in my experience, the more vascular you get, right? From what I've noticed. So these guys just have veins everywhere. Their muscles are rock hard. They've got these thick, grainy look because they have years under tension. And it's fucking spectacular. Now, your neck, I did want to ask about that. How's your training going? Have you noticed, what's one of the biggest things that you've noticed since having the neck surgery? Has anything started to bother you again?
No, nothing has started to bother me. However, I definitely have not regained the strength in my forearms, and that was kind of a major emphasis of why I had to have the surgery, because my nerve roots coming out of my spinal cord were being damaged by arthritis, aka calcium.
Right.
And when they were destroyed, it definitely affected especially my left forearm. And it's significantly smaller. I mean, you may not be able to tell, but I can. And the strength is not there. You're talking to someone that was able to do, 15, 20 pull-ups, no problem, well over 200 pounds. I can do 6 now. And
right.
If you touch my forearm in that specific spot, you will drop me. It's just the way it is.
Pressure point.
Sucks.
Like one of those old kung fu films.
Dude, for when I was in the hospital recovering, they had that stupid little arm pressure cuff thing that they keep on you all night long.
Oh, no.
And, the dumbass nurse decided to put it on my left arm. Man.
We're calling you out, that specific nurse.
Exactly.
We're calling you out right here.
We are calling you out. And when I woke up
You're fine,
in the middle of the night, oh, my gosh. I mean, I was in so much pain. I remember grabbing the little TV wand thing they have hanging by the bed and just saying, yeah, you need to come in here, please, right now and change this. Oh, my gosh.
Knees weak.
I digress.
Knees weak. Arms are heavy. I'm hungry already. Mom's spaghetti. Anyway. So that's, in a long roundabout way, that's the way we would train to be a Centurion. So, and what have you been doing to keep up that look? I mean, I know you keep a relatively low body fat percentage too. which is important in the look of the classic Centurion. So
yes. Well, I definitely have to thank my father's side, which is 100% Russian ancestry.
yeah.
And I've got the classic long arms, long legs, syndrome, which that's another thing that I get. People complain all the time that, man, I can't lift heavy weights because I got long arms. That's a bunch of bullcrap, man. Like, back in the day, I was benching 535 for 3 reps, and I've got long arms. But to answer your question, the most important thing for me is eating healthy. And when I mean that, good quality protein. Eggs are my number one choice for protein. And if you don't think that they are the best source of protein, then you're just stupid. I'll
100%
throw
BV.
Yeah, dude, you're a moron if you don't realize. And eat the whole egg.
Yeah.
If you don't eat the yolk, you're an idiot. Kind of like vegans. But anyways, I
Hey,
digress.
yolks get you yoked.
Yolks give you 3 grams of protein that don't have any nutritional value, and plus, there's not even any choline in there. I mean, come on, and we won't even get into that. Yeah, egg whites are they're just part of the egg yolk which you want to eat. And then number 2, for me, I have to have some kind of, I guess you would say, fast twitch, activity. So if I lift weights faster in sprinting, I just naturally keep the body fat low. I play basketball, and when I do that, I'm not one of those lazy guys. We all know those lazy dudes. I don't have anything to prove. I play basketball to get a workout, not to be better than you, which I am better than you, but that's another story. So
now I know this is gonna stir some shit. Okay. Because I know this has been a topic of discussion in the past. And I'd like to know your opinion. I know my opinion, but I'd like to know your opinion. Is basketball cardio?
If you play it correctly, it is cardio. If you're a fat ass that just runs down and stands still, then no, it's not cardio. If you're the type of guy that shoots 300 jumpers a day, stand still, no, it's not cardio. But if you're the dude that sprints from half court and takes a 2-pointer or shot inside the arc every single time, like you are practicing in-game movements, then yes, it is 100% cardio, and you don't have to spend a lot of time. Screw that 3 hours playing ball. If you do it correctly, 30 minutes, you're toasted.
Also, something I'd like to add here is people have this almost unrealistic because of the internet. Let's call a spade a spade. It's because of the fucking internet. Everybody has this unrealistic expectation of what is considered exercise, cardio, strength training, and all that jazz. If you go into the gym and 135 is difficult for you, guess what? That's the weight you should use.
Yep.
And it's one of those things where I really hate to see people put themselves down because of the weight they lift. Because at the end of the day, those fucking irrelevant numbers that you're fucking, beating your dick to, like, I bench 225 for like 1, and I bench 315 for 1, or something like that. Like, that means nothing. That means absolutely nothing. Unless you're competing, and then you are totally in the worst dick measuring competition of your life. Yes. And that's something you choose to do. Don't put that fucking burden on me. Nope. Or anyone else. Like, yes, basketball is cardio. There's my stance. Like, if you're, but you know what? Anything that you do, even like, I recently rescued a dog, and he's a little member of our family. He's going and getting his anal glands expressed today. So,
don't you love that? I
say that because the look of horror on my face when they said they were going to do that, because I knew what that was, I think I'm mentally scarred from it, right? Like, I wouldn't do that for me, right?
Dude, how about this?
God damn it.
I had a friend that, I kid you not, his vet was charging him like $100 every time to anally express his dog's glands.
I
Said,
thought that story was going to go in a way different direction. I thought your friend had like a vet fetish, and there was something going on at that office, and she offered services that weren't exactly on the paper. But go on.
well, that happened as well too. But no,
Oh, okay.
so the doc said he said, "Hey, if you want to save money, here's some gloves. I'll teach you how to do it at your house."
Oh my God.
Yep.
Did they ghost it?
Yes.
No. This way. As the vet just wraps her arms around him. No. What is wrong with me?
There's a lot of stuff wrong with you, but there's a lot of stuff wrong with a lot of people, so I wouldn't really be worried about it.
But yeah, so basketball is cardio. Man, we've got
Yes.
off.
Yes, basketball is cardio, sir. You are correct.
Yeah. But so you play basketball to keep up your would you say like a general physical fitness level, right? So
Yeah, and I'm also a firm believer if you don't use it, you lose it. And I like being able to dunk a basketball. So I'm going to be that 70-year-old dunking on you.
oh,
I'm throwing it out there. Like, it's the way it is.
Grandpa's such an asshole. He always dunks on me.
I can't stop it. What am I going to do? Hey, Bryce,
I'll never be good enough. What?
by the way, for some reason, people tell me that I sound like Vin Diesel, and I don't know. I get it like once a week. Do I sound like Vin Diesel?
You know what? I think you need to work on an impression, man. One of these days. You need to take what we're gonna do in the next not this next Hatecast, but another Hatecast. Is what we will do is we will have him read some lines.
Yes.
From some Vin Diesel lines, and see if you can tell the difference, guys. And we'll just lay over a picture of Vin Diesel on the screen so that you can kind of come along on this magical journey.
Dude, Riddick.
So Riddick, yes.
Great movie, by the way.
Heck yeah. So you're gonna have to work on that, man. You're gonna have to work on it. It's entertainment.
I will do it because if I can get paid to be a voiceover actor for Vin Diesel, then see you guys later.
How fucking arrogant would that be? Oh, they're making another Riddick video game. Just hire a voiceover guy. I don't want to do it this time. Like, I know he spent a significant amount of money on that last Riddick movie, and it didn't do too well because people were bitching about it being the same. But then, those same people watched Star Wars, the Last Hope, and they were like, "Oh my God, it's the best thing ever." And then
I saw Last Hope, and it was the last Star Wars movie, the Last Jedi, whatever it was.
Last Jedi, yeah.
Yeah, I was lit down. The movie before that was good, but I mean that movie sucks in comparison to Avengers 3. I mean, Infinity War was absolutely amazing.
I don't feel so good.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
That was a reference.
I like it. Oh, I got you. What's wrong with me, Cody?
No spoilers.
What's wrong with me?
People. Yeah. There's some people that still haven't seen it.
Dude.
That one person.
Dude, if that one guy who hasn't seen it yet, within the first 5 minutes, you will love the movie. I mean, wow. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Not to mention it has a big purple guy, so, I mean...
Dude.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but on to the next question. Masterful segue.
We try. A lot. Not really.
How much rest do you need for your body to fully recover so you can start a new program? Now, let me just preface this by saying that Jamie has actually written about this. So if you're interested in his opinion, he has his ebooks out. I believe you can still purchase those on our website. And if you're interested in that and his opinion on them, you can purchase the ebooks, and it will be right as rain for you. but our opinions. Ed, go.
So here's what I say, and it's all dependent upon what kind of stress you put on your body, your age, supplements. Yes, supplements do make a difference. Sleep, food, all of that. So for me personally, because I'm wiser now, and whenever I give someone advice, it's just me talking to my younger self. You know,
Right.
I find that I get the best results as far as staying lean and gaining muscle strength and everything when I have one rest day between my workouts, and I do 3 workouts a week, and I go balls to the wall, to the windows, to the walls. Sorry.
Yeah.
Those 3 workout days,
Yeah.
and then I rest and eat a lot of healthy food in between, and have the occasional cheat meal on the weekends.
Yeah.
And so I really don't have that need to take a full week or 2 weeks off. Now, when I was taxing my body and I was doing 4 days a week, 3 days in a row with the day off and another day, then I found that I definitely had to take a week off from heavy lifting at least every 6 to 7 weeks, or I started getting hurt. And I know that Jamie is under the impression that overtraining is bullshit. I believe in his words, and I've been around a lot of older mentor guys that believe that as well too.
Right.
However, it depends upon the stress that you put on your body. If your body is getting broken down and you are getting hurt, you need to take time off. And if you don't, you are a moron. Don't worry. Your muscle won't go away. It doesn't evaporate. And if you think it does, the reason why you were all pumped up the next day after a workout, it's usually inflammation. So don't worry about it. Just because if you worry about it, you get more cortisol and more stress, and then your gains are screwed anyways. So if you train correctly, you don't need time off in between switching up routines.
Right. So I will tell you this. Jamie has mentioned before that his opinions on this has actually differed a little bit, right? So he is more of a fan of, if I don't feel like doing this today, which is another way of saying that he's not, his shoulders aren't having it, or his elbow isn't having it, or whatever, because he had that injury, So what he does, right, is he just does something else, right? So my personal opinions on fully recovering is as long as you need. Now, there are some people that are the genetic elite, or not even that. Some people with Russian backgrounds, right? Ed,
Wolverine
Mister doesn't need #no rest days. People who have physical labor jobs or something like that, where they're more resistant to the accumulation of fatigue. People with athletic backgrounds are more resistant to the accumulation of fatigue. Sometimes, a lot of the times, I think Jamie kind of touched on this in a previous podcast, is a lot of the times that that people feel like they're overtraining, it's mental fatigue.
Yes.
So you might have been at your job doing something very mentally taxing, and then you go to the gym and you're just not feeling it. And this is where things like pre-workouts can come into play. This is where things like not necessarily rest days, not necessarily like what I would say is train anywhere from 3 to 5 times a week, or 6 times a week at max, right? And that's like you're a pipe layer, like Andrew Loreno. You go in there, you train 6 days a week because you can handle that fucking workload, right?
Yep.
So for me personally, it's 4 days a week because I have Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, off Saturday, Sunday. And that's just what works for my life. That's what's worked for me to not accumulate as much fatigue. I can't give you a general guideline because everybody, I know this is a bullshit cop-out response, but everybody is a unique snowflake when it comes to the amount of work that they can handle, the amount of volume that they can handle, the amount of weight that they can handle, the amount of times that they can do the same weight, right? Because some people can go in there and 1-rep max every single fucking workout. Those people are called assholes, and those people are fucking monsters, right?
Yes.
Not everybody's like that. People like that in high school, but that's a combination of the genetics and them being 19. Right, like when you were younger, how often did you max out? Like every other workout, I'm gonna just max out today. I'm gonna max out today. Today's a good day. I'm gonna max out. I'm 19. I don't give a fuck, you know. But
hey Bryce, I was the asshole in high school.
You son of a bitch.
I was the strongest kid in the school. I was probably the third fastest kid in the school too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was the asshole.
Yeah, see, I was the 400-pound 18-year-old just sitting there going...
Playing video games?
Playing, video games is not to blame. Let me get clear. Let me just be crystal clear on that. Video games is not to fucking blame.
They make you smarter.
To blame, huh?
Video games, 30 minutes a day, have been proven to make you smarter and to help the elderly prevent Alzheimer's and other brain degenerative diseases.
I don't know, man. Some video games I've played have been so bad that they've given me Alzheimer's. So, hashtag No Man's Sky. But it's just one of those things where when it comes down to it, like if you feel like you need a break, take anywhere from 1 day to a full 7 to kind of pull back on the weight, pull back on the volume. Just go to like a little what you feel is enough to not drive you crazy, right? Go in there and do the minimum amount of work. And then the next week, I would highly suggest a week. You will only feel better. Trust me on this. And you're not going to shrink in a week.
Nope.
There's actually a couple studies that examine people who have trained for a long time and then quit training for a while, and then it was almost 3 weeks before they noticed any statistically relevant atrophy, right?
Yep.
So when it comes down to it, that's time enough for you to get a vacation in, guys. Like you guys that sit there and it's like, I can't miss a workout. I can't go on vacation because I can't miss a workout. Like you have a problem.
Yes, you do.
And that's, part of the industry's fault, but that's also part of your fault. Like, sit there, take that week to recover, have yourself a few mimosas, or some other mixed drink that I like better than pure alcohol because I'm such a pussy when it comes to pure gasoline.
Vodka's good.
Well, see, vodka's good, but I had my experience of alcohol ruined by certain alcoholic beverages. Like, everybody was like, yeah, let's do Jaeger bombs. Let's do Jaeger bombs.
It's like, Jaeger bombs suck.
They taste bad. They're bad. Terrible. They make you gag.
I hate them.
If you like those, fine. But why would you do that to yourself?
You're
and
weird.
Everclear, holy shit.
No, wait. Everclear or Diesel is great for making PJ.
Well,
Purple Jesus. Purple Jesus is amazing.
Purple Jesus? What is
Purple
that?
Jesus. You've never heard of PJ, the Purple Jesus?
I have not.
Oh, okay. Well, let me give you a little bit of education here. So, you go buy a couple half gallons of Diesel or Everclear. Diesel's cheaper,
Okay.
And you pour it into
not the fuel type, by the way.
No,
guys.
not the fuel type.
Don't use diesel. Don't go to your gas pump.
Don't
pour it in a jug like a fucking madman because you don't know the fucking terminologies and you sit there like, he said diesel. No, he did not mean that. Stop.
It's not my fault if you kill yourself. You're a moron. The Dunbar Award is given to you. If you don't know about the Dunbar Award, it's handed out annually.
Let me stop you right there, Ed, real quick. Give me a second. We need to pause this episode. Give me 1 second. We will be right back. And we're back, guys. So start at the Purple Jesus, because my headset died.
Well, I also mentioned the Dunbar Awards, and I don't want to leave people hanging. The Dunbar Awards, they're handed out annually to these people that are basically, they take their gene pool out of the population because they do such dumb things. For example, drinking diesel and killing yourself. So you'd win the Dunbar Award because now you can't procreate and pass on those genes.
You know, dumb suckers are being sued right now because some kid went ahead and like choked on a dumb sucker.
That's like, his parents' fault.
You know what my parents would have done?
Yeah,
they just would have said, "Stop choking on that dumb."
Boom, boom.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on my dad jokes. Go ahead.
It's all right. You're not very good. Anyways,
I know.
So Purple Jesus, PJ. You get a couple half a gallons of your purest alcohol that you can drink from the liquor store. Here we call it the ABC store, which is hilarious in itself. But anyways, so get some diesel or Everclear. You pour that in there. Then what you do is you cut up a ton of fruit. You know, the kind that can actually absorb alcohol?
Yeah.
Like watermelon, grapefruit, whatever it is. And you just
Hell yeah.
You have this big, giant tub, like the kind you buy at Walmart for storage, you know, and you fill it up and you throw all that fruit in there and you just let it sit for, I'd give it at least 8 to 12 hours. And then that night when your friends come over, you give them a cup, charge them at least like a couple bucks, man. Because if not, then you're going to go broke. But then you tell them, hey, get some of that, get the fruit, you eat the fruit, and you absolutely get trashed. And it tastes good. And it makes the Everclear diesel, the straight grain alcohol, taste better. And it's called PJ because you'll see Purple Jesus.
Okay. Well, that's one way to get everybody at the party blackout drunk. So,
dude, it works really well too. You have no idea.
I'll have to try it. Never. I don't like getting blackout drunk. It's fine.
Me either.
I like getting a little buzz. You know, I've been meaning to try some IPAs that Wayne, Wayne suggested. So we're gonna see if we can't get some of those, and we'll maybe do a podcast with them. I don't know.
I hate the taste of beer. Honestly, I only drink.
You can drink whatever you want, but we need to have like a little intoxication podcast.
That would actually be fun.
With a little asterisk, drink responsibly. But fucking anyway, so
just don't drive afterwards.
Back to the question.
What was the question? I don't even remember now.
Goddamn. How much rest do you need for your body to fully recover?
Oh, well, didn't we already finish that?
We did, but then we went on a tangent.
Well, then what's the next question?
Okay. How to heal from an injury and return to your best or previous state. Now, this one you have a little bit of experience on. Now, by the way, guys, I am going to shoot up, for you guys, I'm going to shoot up a picture of the x-ray from his neck injury so that you guys can see that he's not full of shit. He actually did have neck surgery.
Yes.
It looks pretty. The x-rays are beautiful.
They were. That's why I was like, yo, can I get a picture of that? And they're like, oh, we can print it out for you. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Man, they sounded really excited. They're like, yeah, this is fucked up. Here.
Well, you got to realize most people that have the kind of injury that I had are like 30 years older than me. And I'm the dude that I love this, Bryce. So anyways, off on another tangent. As they're wheeling me out into the recovery room, they wheel me out with a little tiny cloth over my package. And the question is, why does he have...
I know where this is going. I've seen this video once.
Only once, Bryce. Only once. Why does he have the cloth over his package? the answer was because I was so hot. Apparently, I just kept taking my gown off
Oh,
and just
okay.
and flashing all the nurses and doctors and students because it was done at a medical teaching facility.
Oh, fun.
Oh yeah, dude, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, Said same things 5 different times to people, but anyways, I was able to walk out on my own the next day, which I think was pretty much against hospital policy. I'm not sure, but anyways,
Probably.
probably,
Probably.
but I mean, less than 24 hours after surgery, I'm walking out. I'm using the bathroom on my own that night and everything. I mean, I was good. So they were a little bit more enthusiastic about dealing with me because I didn't complain and I wasn't just a complete wuss. So they gave me, I guess, some extra privileges and thought it was cool that I wanted to see what my neck looked like. So
Yeah.
that's how I was able to, and why they sounded so enthusiastic about giving me access to my x-rays. So, back to the original question, how do you recover from a major injury? One day
Well,
at a
heal
time.
from an injury, yeah.
Yeah, one day at a time. And I know it sounds cliche as crap, but no, it's one day at a time. Because if you start looking ahead and saying, man, in 12 weeks, dude, that's such a long time, but man, this sucks. 12 weeks, what am I going to do? It's one day at a time. You got to realize, I was in a neck brace for 5 weeks. Do you know how much that sucks? It sucks bad. Like, I wasn't supposed to be driving, for the whole time, but don't tell anybody I kind of did.
I won't tell
Yeah.
anybody, and nobody
Okay.
else will tell
Nobody
anybody.
will ever know. Yeah,
Yeah.
nobody will ever
It's a
know.
secret between us and the
Uh,
internet.
don't do that, by the way. Do
No.
not drive if you have a neck brace on at all. Don't do it. But anyways, and I did get my neck brace off a week early, which I definitely will contribute to supplementation and just being healthy in general and working out for 22 plus years.
Yeah.
So, again, one day at a time, you do the little things that you're clear to do. Like, of course, for me, I couldn't lift anything heavier than 10 pounds for the first 5 weeks and then 15 for the next 6 weeks. Did I lift more than that? Maybe a couple times, but again, do not do that. Okay? So,
Do as
pick
I say,
something.
not as I do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pick something that, for me, it was the Peloton bike, and I have not used it since then, I'm going to be honest. But I would get on the bike. I would bike, just only hit for 20 to 30 minutes, 4 to 5 times a week. I ate healthy. And when you first have surgery, people give you all this like candy and stuff you don't eat. So I definitely did that and enjoyed myself. But then I kind of got sick of it, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start eating healthy again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it one day at a time. Got caught up on a lot of movies I hadn't seen in a while, which was great. The Mechanic and The Mechanic Part 2 were okay. I love Stamos. He's one of those dudes. But anyway, so yes, you just do what doesn't hurt. You work out other parts of your body if you can,
Yeah.
and you take it one day at a time and don't look ahead. If you do that, it will work. If you don't, it won't work. You'll sit there and you'll be like, I've got 12 weeks of this. How am I going to do it? I'm going to go eat a whole tub of ice cream. And you don't want that.
I've had a little bit of an experience with working out while injured as well. Now, mine was a little bit different. I had my gallbladder removed.
Ooh.
And it was the cost that I had to pay for losing all that weight. See, your cholesterol ping-pongs, and those form into gallstones, and then you end up having gallbladder issues. A lot of extreme weight loss patients have their gallbladder removed. And when I went through that, I basically I couldn't. I walked the first day, right? So I was up and out.
Yep.
It was pretty standard, right?
Yep.
But I recovered much faster, and I did that by doing what I knew to do, which was eat healthy, take it one day at a time, as you said, and I also did what I could instead of what I wanted to do. So you have
Yes.
this ego about you. I mean, everybody has this ego about them. Even if you say, "Oh no, I don't have an ego," yes, you do.
Yes, you
Every
do.
time you push up that weight, every time you get a little bit better, you're feeding your ego, which is healthy, right? That's a healthy.
Hmm.
That's a positive. You're getting a positive feedback for doing something. But oftentimes you can kind of sit there and you can kind of dwell over the fact that you just can't do that right now. And if you look at things on a micro level, right, instead of a macro level, you will get very upset and you'll get depressed and all the bad BS that comes along with that. And take it from somebody who has let himself dwell on things. Whenever I get like a little muscle strain or something like that, I used to get upset. But the gallbladder thing was really humbling. It was, it took about 4 to 8 weeks before I could do crunches again, or any ab work really. It took a while before I was able to do anything except walk. Now, I did recover much faster than the average bear, but it still took work on my part, holding myself back, and also doing what I was supposed to do, doing what I could do and not what I wanted to do. So,
Hmm.
my advice is to find something, if you have an injury, find something that you can do and do that instead of what your stupid, human, emotional brain is telling you to do.
Yep.
It's the same. It's like the same. It's the same discipline you approach dieting with, right? It's the
Yep.
same exact discipline. You know what you need to do, but the people who do not succeed at dieting or who do not succeed at weight loss or muscle gain is the same way too. But that's not talked about very much because people, I can't gain weight. I can't gain weight. Yes, you can. You have to eat. Just like,
Hmm.
yes, you can lose weight. You're not special, right? You are not a special snowflake in that regard. Everybody
Yep.
can lose weight.
Yep.
You just need the discipline to do it. You need to say, okay, and it seems so stupid to me because I've lost so much weight that, like, oh, and I went up, like people who pay coaches and then cheat on their diet and then not tell their coach about it, and their coach is like, this doesn't add up. It's because they lied to their freaking coach, you know,
Yep.
or they lied to themselves, saying that oh well, I only had half a cup when you don't even know how to quantify half a cup of
Nope.
whatever, right?
Mm-mm.
So, like, don't just like you wouldn't cheat on your diet to set yourself back. Don't cheat on your recovery when it comes to an injury. Because if you cheat on your diet to set yourself back on fat loss, all you do is waste time. If you have neck surgery, or if you have your gallbladder removed and you tear a stitch, you
Ugh.
could potentially cause a blood clot. And that could potentially be your last mistake. Now, for things not as serious as that, because I know everybody has their own definition of injury, and this person wasn't very specific, but muscle strains are probably the easiest to recover from. It just takes anywhere from like 48 hours to like a week. That's when I would suggest just lightening up the load for a week,
Yep.
waiting for everything to feel great again before you start hammering it. Muscle tears are something more difficult. I don't have much experience with that. I do. One of the worst times that I've ever had something go wrong was I had my bicep do something weird. Now, I believe it was bicep tendonitis, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's left me with this nerve sting whenever I squeeze my bicep too much or I'm using it too much. So for something like that, just ease back into it, you know. Of course, as always, if you're going through something like this, please consult the doctor.
Please.
We're not medical professionals.
Not at all.
I can say that something that certainly can help is something like Gaia. You know, getting your greens in, at least Gaia, right? I'm always going to prefer whole foods over supplements. You know, we're kind of rare in the way that this supplement company doesn't really push on these podcasts. You know, and I kind of like that because it keeps the conversation honest.
Yes.
But honestly, Gaia is something that you can use if you have trouble getting in fruits and vegetables. And if you had gallbladder surgery like I am, something you can do is take a powder because it really doesn't mess with your gallbladder too much, or it doesn't mess with, you know, because something they did tell me is I couldn't eat a lot of fat when I had my gallbladder out because it would make me have a little upset stomach. It could do some other bad things. So I had a low-fat diet for a little bit. Oh, man, waterfalls. Holy shit. But I was ahead of the curve, though, because I picked up some bile salts. Right?
Ah, not bath salts, bile salts.
That would have made the recovery a lot easier, or at least perceived a lot easier, right? I'd be on bath salts. I wouldn't give a fuck. Yep. But no, I picked up some bile salts, and I kind of was ahead of the curve. I was proactive in my recovery, and if you can do anything that will make yourself proactive in your recovery, regardless of what it is, it could be neck surgery, it could be your gallbladder removed, it could be back surgery. I know for some reason a lot of people are starting to get disc issues. That's something that's kind of popped up.
For real, man, for reals.
What do you think now kind of a little offshoot, because I think we've answered that question. What do you think the reason for that is? You know, you have all these people that are coming into the gym and they have these disc issues, rotator cuff issues, and you know, just injury laden. You know, what do you think the reason for that? And it's recent too.
Yes, I think it has to do with an imbalance, and probably more than likely with the hips, just because we were so sedentary. And
yeah.
I mean, when you do that, those muscles down there, they can't fully extend. And then here's how injuries work for people that don't really understand it. It happens over time. It can happen immediately if you use too much of a weight, like you're lifting a door or a refrigerator or something. But, you know, most of the time it's overuse, so you kind of feel it a little bit. And then, like, let's say, for example, your hips are a little bit out of alignment, so your left side really isn't getting the same push that you are when you're deadlifting or squatting. And then next thing you know, when you're going down, you know, you put more pressure on the right side starts to get overused, starts to get hurt, and then now your form just goes to crap, and then you say, ego takes over, I'm getting stronger, I'm going to lift this, and then boom, there goes slip disc. You're putting stress on them, and it was funny because when I posted up my recovery and what I went through on the Facebook, I had so many people hit me up that are friends of mine that had one or two vertebrae, or levels they call it. Mine was a tri-level, which means they fused 4 vertebrae together. Most people had singles. But there was significantly more people than I had anticipated that have had that surgery. I mean, even Lee Labrada, if you don't know who he is, don't worry. He's an old bodybuilder, has a supplement brand.
Looked fantastic, by the way, back in the day.
He does.
He had some of the best posing routines ever.
Yes. And I believe his son is the one that's really kind of big now, that's doing well.
Yeah, he's doing fairly well. I know that it's kind of a double-edged sword when you're the son or daughter or whatever of an ex, whatever field you're going into, because you're always going to be compared to your dad. So I think a lot of...
What do you mean? Dale Earnhardt Jr. was never compared to his dad.
Nobody cares. But that... Okay, I'm going to piss off people by saying nobody cares about NASCAR, but nobody cares about NASCAR. I live in the South. Nobody cares about NASCAR.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, quick question.
Yeah.
What style barbecue is the best?
Shit. Um. Uh. I. I don't know. I'm a real big fan of like, what do you mean style?
What kind of sauce? Because everybody has a secret sauce depending upon your region. You know, I get it in Texas, barbecue, they refer to beef and brisket, which they do the best, but in the true South, the originals, we refer to barbecue as pork.
Right. Right.
So the question is, what kind of sauce? Are you more of like a Georgia person and like that mustard? Are you more of like a Tennessee person and like that tomato ketchup based? Or are you more of like an Eastern North Carolina, the true connoisseurs of barbecue, that like that vinegar pepper base?
I don't really know. I grew up in a weird place, Austin, Texas. So
That is weird.
if you know anything about Austin, Texas, it's like you
Weird?
have Texas, and then you have like influences of basically everything else, all in this one weird, uh, excessively drunk town. I say that because it's a big drinking place, okay? Like, 6th
Hey,
Street is where it's at. Uh,
doesn't water flow through there?
Water and alcohol, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I think that's what many people are fueled by in Austin. But um, you have just so many different influences in Austin, Texas, that where I grew up personally, um, I tried Korean barbecue, which the sweet Thai chili sauce is something, or the sweet chili sauce is something that I've just fallen in love with, right? And they have
Hmm.
this incredible pork dish with the Korean barbecue sauce that that has to be like the sweet influences when it comes to barbecue and sweet and savory combinations in general are more my forte, right? Whereas there's like 700 different barbecue restaurants or barbecue places that you can go for like extremely good barbecue in Austin, Texas. So I really can't answer that question without betraying somebody. So
Well,
there's so many influences.
the true answer to that question is that you have no idea what you're talking about. Eastern North Carolina barbecue is the best. There you
Oh,
go.
well, there's the true answer then. Yeah,
That's the true answer.
yeah.
With some slaw. With some slaw. Definitely, you gotta have that slaw in there. And hush puppies. Oh my God.
Okay, we
And
agree
Brunswick
on that
stew.
one. We agree on that one.
Brun
Hush puppies are
and
where it's at.
Brunswick stew.
Yeah. No, and my dad's actually he apparently in his cooking he has some Cajun influences too, because where
Mm.
his family's from, Cajun influence was big. So I have an expansive food library of things that I've tried and styles that I've tried. So my taste buds are a little bit weird too. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. It's just part of how I grew up.
it
But I think
happens.
I think we'll close out on one more question here.
Let's do it.
So, at what point would you start bulking, considering fairly weak lifts? I can't imagine going from 185 to 315 squat requires too big of a surplus. Now, my translation of this question is, at what point would you consider bulking in your fitness journey, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I'm going to say something fairly controversial. You can get stronger while dieting.
Yes, you can.
So,
You
like, it
ready?
doesn't. Go ahead.
Um, I don't believe in bulking.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Um,
Well, what have I been
my
doing for the past, I don't know how long now.
do what now? I'm
But no,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, for me, Mariusz Pudzianowski is my idol.
Okay.
He was, granted, it wasn't considered the elite power lift, whatever you want to call it, but he does hold the record for the 5-time World's Strongest Man competition, Metrics, that was on TV. None of the other ones are really on TV. With the Kaz, who is definitely broadcasting, who is just, he's amazing. But, so, I would start eating more calories if your lifts have stalled out or you're feeling tired. If you have enough energy when you're training, you don't need more calories.
Yeah.
You don't. And usually if you're not getting stronger, it comes down more to a nervous system issue, like you're basically not responding anymore to that lift, or you have a weakness in some of the supporting muscle groups that you need to address first. So I would suggest, and oh my gosh, don't do that lift for a couple weeks. Work on some other, maybe like classic bodybuilding, conditioning, athletic type workouts.
Right.
And then go from there. And if you're losing weight, your muscles are getting smaller, and your lifts are going down drastically, then you need to eat more. But if you're still seeing steady progress, then you don't need to bulk. Just eat a little bit more, and you'll be fine, because the older you get, the harder it is going to be to get that body weight off. And even if it's all muscle, it does do an extreme amount of damage to your body, especially your heart and your kidneys. Granted, most 21-year-olds don't care about that because they think they're going to live forever. But
no, they get blackout drunk every other day and fucking go around. You know what?
Cool.
I mean, I'm actually surprised in my 20s I didn't catch something like STD wise too, because I was very promiscuous. So they don't give one fuck at all.
No. and I was about to ask you also, when you said recovery from surgery, you couldn't do anything for 5 weeks. Did that include sex as well too? Because it did for me, which I hated.
It was suggested. I mean, I can't. I'm not the best person to ask about that. I'm like the Energizer Bunny. I don't.
It keeps going and going and going.
Yeah, it's actually a problem. I don't know.
Oh, so you're like Charlie Sheen, Tiger Woods?
Yeah, but less. I'm more monogamous. So
Wait.
I have a wife, so that's the one. But yeah, I just it's like I'm 13 perpetually. It
sucks,
bad.
dude.
No, it's fine. Like, I'm a happy guy, but yeah, no, it didn't affect that much. I mean, for the first couple days, it was sore, but I was sore.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Yeah. But anyway, go on.
I give a big sigh because we just got so far off topic on that one.
That's okay. So, at what point would you consider bulking, considering fairly weak lifts? So, I'm going to say this: nearly everybody is not as muscular as they think they are.
Nope.
So, if you've been lifting for 10 years without a calorie surplus, you will probably have added some muscle mass. The issue comes in with the fact that, do you want to be some muscular guy, or do you want to be a bodybuilder? Now, for the bodybuilding purposes, you will need to do at least 3 or 4 different bulks in your life, and they need to be hard bulks. That's because bodybuilders are literally walking billboards for freaks. They are freaks. There is no hiding the fact. There's no dancing around the fact, and there's no reason to compete if you're not comfortable with being a fucking freak. People are going to point at you, and they're going to go, oh, look at that massive guy. Not because they like the way you look, but because you're a big, giant, dumb freak.
Freak.
And because you're so massive, you will need to bulk. And you will need to get stronger. Because a stronger muscle generally equates to a bigger one. So,
however, the bodybuilders are not as strong as you think they are, and several of them, there are ways. Granted, there's a certain level of strength that you will obtain, but if you're squatting over 405, benching over 405, and deadlifting 405, you're pretty strong, and that's going to be kind of your standard.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about like benching 500, right? I'm talking about like banging out 225, banging out 315, right?
Yeah,
at the upper echelons of bodybuilding. Also, something too is you don't. Here's a thing. Here's my little theory, right? Mm-hmm. You do not need to get extremely massive to get very strong.
No.
But you do need to get some level of good strength to get very big.
Very true.
So, where I think one doesn't exactly equate to the other, I think that in order to get to the massive level that a bodybuilder's at, or your classic bodybuilder, you do need to get strong.
Yes.
So, but with that being said, like, I would say if you're in your first 4 years of training, don't worry about bulking or cutting.
Nope.
Except if you're excessively fat like I was, or except if you're excessively skinny like, your doctors have told you, hey, your bones are bending the wrong way because you're so malnourished, you should probably eat some more.
Probably should.
Then go ahead and start bulking. Like, you pound that cheesecake down.
Pound it like Bryce in his 20s.
I regret saying all of the words. But yeah, it's just one of those things where don't worry about it, man. Again, with the internet, you have an unrealistic strength standard that I think people are pushing on, and you need to, nowadays people think that you need to bench 225 day one, walk into the gym. If you do not do that, you are a quote unquote manlet, which I hate that term. So that macho ego bullshit, I know it's very popular in the weightlifting world, and I like feeling manly as much as the next guy, but I am not going to ridicule anybody for benching 135 if that is what's difficult for them, because I actually do love everything about the weight room, and I love seeing people progress any way that they can. It is something that truly brings me joy. I mean, I got personal trainer certified at one point because I thought that I wanted to train people, but I actually like just watching it. I like watching people get bigger day by day. I like people losing a lot of body fat. I just like seeing people be happy. I don't know, that's kind of weird.
You heard it here first. Bryce likes to watch people.
I am a voyeur, yes.
Yes, keep your windows, blinds closed
or open if you're into that.
Or if you're open, if you're trying to show off or something,
yeah, and do it while benching, naked. But it's one of those things where just don't worry about it too much. I think that if you're uncomfortable with the way that you look, give it a year, see if you feel differently, and if you do after a year, go ahead and it's not going to hurt you to bulk, especially if you are unassisted chemically. Mm-hmm. You will. I don't believe in a quote unquote natural limit, and I think the fat-free mass index is bullshit.
Yes,
but I do believe that at a certain point it will become snail's pace, and at that point, most people are going to be generally very happy with the way that they look at that point.
Well, example, look at Phil Heath. Has he really changed that much since he's won the Olympia?
Man, don't even get me started on that, because I have a fucking theory. When he went in for that hernia surgery, right? Mm-hmm. And hernia that was like life-threatening. I think, mark my words, this Olympia, he's going to have a much smaller waist because he had a little work done. So just mark my words, okay? Like, it's a conspiracy theory right now, but like I
like it.
I would bet money if I had any to bet.
Oh,
But
hey, one last thing on that. You know why everybody NPC and stuff by the last bodybuilding shows are in October?
why's that?
Because of Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, binge week.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to be participating.
Me too.
Even though I'm not doing a show, I'm going to be participating.
Why not?
Hell yeah, it's part of one of the greatest joys in life.
Thanksgiving.
People seem to,
Yes.
and this is. I think we'll close this out and we'll give you guys one piece of advice. All things aside, like, fucking enjoy yourself.
Yes.
If lifting is not fun, if eating, what you're eating is not fun, find a way to make it so. Life is too short to concentrate on all the bullshit minutiae stuff. So,
Agreed.
There's a slew of holidays coming up, and worst case scenario, you buy a little bit of Predator from Chaos and Pain, you blunt some of that damage. Football season is upon us, and
Yep.
Predator is there to help you, and don't worry too much about the excess body fat. You're probably going to be stronger after that extra helping of nachos.
Yes.
So enjoy yourself. And I think this closes it out for us, guys. We're coming up on an hour, and we will see you in the next one.
See you then.
Peace.